Okay, pardon me, peoples. I'm trying to see if I can pin the comments. Okay. Peace, everybody. How are you? I wanted to come on here really quickly and just speak on polygamy. And the reason why is because I have been noticing that there is a misconception going on. And if you have seen Red Table Talk on Facebook, when they were introducing polyamory or alternative relationships to the world, or, you know, to the audience, they mentioned the distinction between polyamory and polygamy. But when they gave out the definition of what polygamy was, they basically said that polyamory isn't polygamy in the sense of, you know, that is when a man has multiple wives, right? Okay. Then, just yesterday, I ended up listening to a podcast hosted by Young Pharaoh. A lot of people, if you are a part of the conscious community, you may know who that is. You may have even tuned in. And I kind of came in a little late on the podcast, and I only heard about, I would say, 4 callers. And as I'm listening, it's very interesting. The conversation is interesting. The build between people is interesting. But still, the same concept is consistent where, you know, people are referring to polygamy as just multiple wives with a man. And my thing is, that's not the definition. I'm not sure if in the beginning it was defined before people were able to call in and, you know, state their opinions on whether they're for it or not. But one of the things I tried to do was call in and make that clarification of what polygamy actually was, so that people can call in and have a distinction of what they're talking about. So the whole podcast in itself was based on polygyny. So just really quick, I want to define, you know, polygamy. Polygamy is where, you know, a person can have multiple spouses. Period. That's what it is. It's an umbrella term. So underneath that, they have polygyny, and then they have polyandry. So polygyny is where a man has multiple wives, and polyandry is where a woman has multiple husbands. Okay? So that whole concept of, as soon as someone says polygamy, the first thing they think is a man and multiple wives. You know what I mean? Which is not necessarily wrong, but it's not the whole thing. We're not going to negate the rest of what polygamy is, because we're only thinking of one aspect of it. So that's the same thing as if someone says, you know, well, hey, you know, how's the weather over there in the state where you're at? And they say, oh, the weather today is bad. That can easily be rainy, or it could be a hurricane. You don't know what's going on. It could be a twister going on. You know what I mean? Because there's different subsections of what bad weather is. So that's the same thing when you say, you know, polygamy. You know what I mean? It's an umbrella term with different subsections underneath. So I just wanted to clarify that for the people, because I don't like when like everyone has, you know, a misconception of what something is, and everyone is just misinformed. It's really annoying. Even if they know what polygyny is, they still think that all the wives are sexually interactive with each other. And then there's subsections, you know, below that as well. So in polygyny, there's 2 different types of wives. There's sister wives, and then there's co-wives. And the difference between that is, co-wives are where they are sharing that man and they are sexually interactive with him and each other. Okay, so sister wives, just like if you had siblings, you are not sexually interactive with them. So that's the difference between sister wives and co-wives. So, and the same goes for polyandry when it comes to the husbands. So you would have co-husbands, which would entail that the men are bisexual and they are sexually and romantically interactive with each other along with the woman. And then there is, you know, brother husbands, where they are strictly romantically and sexually involved with her alone and not each other. So they would just have a brotherly bond. So that would actually be called fraternal polyandry. Okay, and the same thing with sister wives, that is called sororal polygyny. Okay, so now that we have that clarification, now the conversation can start on whether you're for polygamy as a whole or you're not. That's just how we can start that conversation. I hate that people start the conversation on asking people, you know, their opinions and don't give out the information so that people know what they're talking about. You know, that's what I wanted to start with. Yes. So I'm going to end up opening the lines to see, you know, what is it that you guys prefer, if you're for polygamy, if you're not, if it's something that Black people should practice. You know, I would like to hear your thoughts, you know, and let me know what you're thinking. You know what I mean? Whether it works for you, whether it doesn't work for you, all that. You know, I'm going to see if I can, sorry, I'm getting text messages. I'm going to see if I can add this video to YouTube. So I want you guys to follow me on YouTube. The link will be in my description. Right now, I just uploaded a video explaining what divine masculinity is. So I want you guys to check out that video as well, because this whole, another misconception that bothers me of what it means to be masculine. Okay, what it means to be divine masculine, and what it means to be alpha male and all that stuff. So what I did was I comprised a video with different images of divine masculine men today, Black men, of course. You know, and I just put it in a video explaining what it means to be divine masculine, and that's what I have on my channel. And on my channel I will have you know, lots of informational videos where you can, if you're on the self-discovery journey, if you are on a spiritual journey, if you are you know, trying to raise your vibration, if you're trying to, you know, make yourself healthier, this is the channel for you. You understand what I'm saying? So about the noise, y'all. I'm in noisy New York, for those who do not know. So you're gonna hear you're gonna hear trucks and bikes and all that going by. Sorry. Yes, there's a clear difference between co-husbands and brother husbands, which is the same as the difference between co-wives and sister wives. So, and really quick, before I start taking in callers, I'm just going to give you guys my thoughts on it and let you guys know what's going on. So, as far as polygamy, I am definitely for polygamy, you know, and the reason being is because I believe that it is our ancient practice, as far as people before colonization. Because if you think about it, when it came down to polygamous marriage, it was all made illegal in the 1800s all over the globe, kind of. If you look at it in America, in Africa, in India, polygamy has been made illegal all around the late 1800s, and I don't think that's a coincidence. So before then, polygamy was widely practiced, and I am in the art of trying to revive the culture that is us before colonization. So I'm definitely going to be for polygamy. Do we have the mindset right now as far as black people? We have a lot of growing to do. Yes, we do. But I do believe there are people with the capability to do it. If you are vibrating high enough, you can definitely enter into a polygamous relationship and things will go smoothly. I think it promotes unity, community, family, group economics, which is something that we need because we don't got it like that, but yes, I'm definitely for polygamy, especially in this time. I'm going to have to make the distinction between polyandry over polygyny at this particular time. And the reason why I say that is because of circumstance. Polyandry has always come about in history because of culture, and also because of circumstance. So usually I feel that the state that we're in right now, as far as the earth is concerned, I feel that we as black people need polyandry. We need more men in the home. We need more men to be around our children to protect them. We need more men to be around and protect our women. We need to see our black men working together. That's something that I think is very, very important. As far as, I was super happy to see, our gang members calling a truce between the different sets of gangs and things like that. But what has actually happened since then? Okay, we just stopped fighting each other. That's basically what it was. Okay, so now what? Let's work together. You know what I mean? How many times have men ended up in a fight or losing friendships because they were in love with the same woman? You know what I mean? Or friends, trying to, date, or, the woman cheats on one with the other friend, whatever, you know what I mean? And then it destroys friendships and all types of heartbroken and stuff happens. But if you were to work together, that wouldn't happen. You should try that. You should try working together. You know what I mean? Hi guys, how are you? Yes, so yes, I'm gonna get back on track. I think I went off a little bit, but yeah, I'm gonna get back on track. So as far as, I'm going to say that polyandry is, I say that for right now, I think polyandry should happen first and foremost, and then we can start with polygyny, simply because the environment that we live in, polygyny, just having more babies, isn't conducive to our health. We have poisoned food. We have an oppressive system on us black people to where it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to just have more babies in this environment. Our sky is getting sprayed. You understand what I'm saying? Our food is not real. Our water is tainted. There's fluoride in our toothpaste. There's a lot of things against us, basically killing who we are as melanated beings. So I think to remedy that situation, we need to do polyandry. You understand what I'm saying? I think we need to get out of our individualistic mindsets and get back our nationhood. That's what I think we need to do. I think that polyandry, in the sense of putting a couple of black men in the house, I think that is going to help them put their egos aside, help them get rid of their egos. I think that's going to basically get them to start working together. You know, you understand what I'm saying? They won't feel any type of way to be able to hug the next man and, you know, and just show him love. You know what I mean? We walk down the street, our men walk down the street, and they feel animosity and offense if another man is looking at them. You understand what I'm saying? We don't do anything for each other. We live for ourselves. And I think if you put polyandry, you know, in the black community, we will start thinking differently. We'll start thinking the way that we used to before colonization, of course. You know, so that's something that I think is very, very important. So when we have children in a polyandrous household, what do you think is going to happen? Think about it. If one man is at work, right, another man can take that child to the park, or two men can walk with him. Because if you want to think about the kids who's being killed, what did they do? They went to the store to go get snacks, but they were walking alone. You understand what I'm saying? Or think about the men that died, even if he was outside hustling, selling cigarettes. He was by himself. He died. What I think is, when it comes to police brutality and things of that nature, I think that they prey on those who are alone. If they knew that black men were together and they were unified and they actually, you know, use their strength for the good of the community, then they would be like, okay, I'm not going to, you know, mess with their women. I'm not going to mess with their children. But the reason why they do that is because they know that they can. You understand what I'm saying? They know that they can. And they know that no one's not going to do anything. No one's going to do anything. You know what I mean? They can, you know, beat on a woman with a baby in her hand. They can rip children out of, you know, out of our hands, because there's no man around. Like, I'm not sure if you guys saw the video where I think it was a food stamp office or something like that, and a woman, she had her child and she was sitting on the floor. Nobody wanted her on the floor, so they called the cops on her. Stupid, okay? But my thing is, where was the father? Where was the father? And what about all the other men that was in that facility to protect her from the cops? You understand what I'm saying? If she had more than one husband, you understand what I'm saying? Even if her and the father of that child did not work out, she would have still had another two that could be father figures for that child, that can be the protection for that woman and that child. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just like, we have to start thinking in the sense of more than just, oh, I grew up this way, this is the right way because society says so. You know what I mean? We have to start thinking about us as a whole. You know what I mean? So yes, we need to put family first. And when I say family, I'm not talking about our individual family unit, the ones who we live in the house. Usually when we talk about family, that's what we're talking about. You know, black people are talking about just their immediate, whoever they live with, that part family. When I say family, I'm talking about us as a nation. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about black people, the black community. I'm talking about every melanated person is family. That's our brother, that's our sister. We're all connected. You understand what I'm saying? So we need to start thinking along those lines to where we will start acting different. We'll start taking care of each other. You know what I mean? A black woman should not walk down the street and feel anxiety if she passes a group of men. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of young girls grow up that way, and a lot of women, you know, even as adults, still feel anxiety walking past a group of our own men. And I think that's crazy. I think that if we were to change the dynamics of how our society runs and how our black men are, once they're in a polyandrous environment, they will become the protectors of the nation again, the way that they used to. You understand what I'm saying? They will know how to cooperate. They won't be, you know, everything won't be what I can get. You understand what I'm saying? The whole mind frame will change. The reprogramming of the mind will have to happen in order for them to be in polyandry in the first place. So once they do that, they will be reformed. They have a reformed mind, and they will act and move differently. They'll start moving in a divine masculine way. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I think polyandry will help as far as the male psyche is concerned. And another way I think polyandry will help us now, especially in these times, in these crazy times, is simply because we need to control population. Okay? We need to control population, and there have been things set in place to already control population, you know, man-made diseases, all types of things, all that, blah, blah, blah. But I'm talking about in a humane way, the natural way to where we can control how many babies are being produced in a particular set of time. So instead of the whole, you know, abortion things, all that, I believe that if we wait on polygyny, because polygyny, multiplies the amount of babies that we're having. So if we start with polyandry, a woman can only have one child a year. One child a year. One child a year to at least maybe 2 to 4 husbands. So imagine how that can reduce the amount of babies coming up. You understand what I'm saying? So if those 4 men were in monogamous relationships, they each would have a child within 1 year, most likely. But if they're all in a polyandrous relationship, they would only have 1 between the 4 men. And if they all had polygynous relationships, they might have 2 to 3 babies a year, depending on how many wives they have and if they're all getting pregnant at the same time. So as far as if you do enough research to know what's going on with our environment and how we are producing too much CO2 right now, and how we, you know, planting trees, it's not really going to help that much. So if you guys has ever seen, I want you to look at this movie. It has the what's his name? The guy from Captain America, the black guy that flies around. I forgot his name. I apologize. But him. He's in the movie I.O. I want you guys to go watch the movie I.O. Okay? Because that movie shows you pretty much what is going to happen if we continue in this, on the route that we're going as far as making the environment toxic for us. So you'll get to see how it is to where we won't even be able to breathe. There won't be oxygen on Earth anymore, period. So it'll look disgusting. We will all die, basically. So I just think that if we reduce the amount of children that we're having, slow down the amount of, you know, conceiving of babies, control our population, I think we need to take that time to focus on, you know, making the environment suitable for us to have children. I do not believe is the movie on Netflix. Is the movie on, I'm not sure, because what was I doing when I was watching it? You should probably check on Netflix to see if the movie's on Netflix, but I'm not sure if the movie's on Netflix. When I watched it, I believe I was watching the Fire Stick, and I think most people have that. Most people have the Firebox, Fire Stick, whatever you got going on. Try looking it up and look for it, and it actually shows you basically, you know, sometime in the future where the environment is very toxic, you can't breathe, to where everybody basically traveled to a moon that surrounds Jupiter or something, and it's called Io, and there was only one scientist who stayed back to see if they can see if life can still happen on Earth. So they try to do a lot of experiments and all that stuff. So I'm not going to keep going on into the movie because I want you to watch it, but it's a really good movie. I like it. It's a really good movie, and I like how they make movies that show us everything that's going on, but we don't really watch movies in that type of way because we slow. But you know, I really think that, you know, if we hold off on polygyny, like, I understand, especially those who subscribe to Kemet or Egyptology, all of us who are leaving our, you know, docile ways of thinking, we're leaving our, you know, religions, Christianity, whatever we're leaving, whatever program we're leaving, and we're going into our African spirituality. We like to emulate our ancestors, and we want to, you know, revive the culture of polygamy. Yes, but I think that we need to, you know, use our critical thinking. I think it kind of shows exactly which level of consciousness you're on by the decisions that you make. Are you just emulating because you just don't want to be a part of Western society, or are you really going to do something that is beneficial for the next generation? We need to stop living for just ourselves and start living for the generations that come behind us. Are we trying to make a legacy? Are we trying to leave something behind? Because when this avatar, you know, just returns to the dust, then what? You understand what I'm saying? So we need to start thinking along those lines, and that's pretty much how I think. I think in the sense of, you know, if we're going to practice or revive, you know, a specific type of culture from our ancestors, I think, you know, polyandry is one of those things we should do, because it just makes complete sense. I don't understand why we would start having a lot more babies in this type of environment. It doesn't make any sense to me. We should start, you know, like, what's the word? We should start recovery. We should start recovery, rehabilitation for our men. Let's create an environment. Let's focus on our environment. Let's make sure that we are creating a great environment to have babies. Let's just stop popping them out and not caring about how they're going to grow up, not caring what's going to happen to them when they go to school. You know what I mean? You know, they're going to school, and then here comes this LGBT course in pre-K. I don't know why, but we gotta be able to control the education factor. We gotta be able to get our men back to where they used to be, so that we can start having babies, and we can feel like our children are protected. Our women should feel protected from any black man that she sees. You understand what I'm saying? So that's just one of the things that, you know, yes, I agree, polyandry does make more sense. I think that polygyny can come once things are stabilized. You know, once we stabilize the environment, and we don't have police brutality to worry about for our children. We don't have poisoned food. We don't have sprayed air. Okay, we don't have tainted water. We don't have anything going against our life force. Once we don't have that, then let's start having babies. It doesn't make any sense for us to have babies in an environment that's set out to kill them. Why would we have more without trying to make the environment better for them? That doesn't make any sense to me. That's just like people who, who just pop out babies just because they wanted a nut, and they're not thinking about, establishing themselves so that they can take care of that child. What kind of life are you setting for that child to come into? You understand? No one thinks about that, so that's something I think should happen. And also, I do believe, I think this is my last point as far as, resources. We don't own any land. We don't own any land, okay? So, black people, very individualistic. It really disgusts me. It bothers me. But we don't own any land. We don't know how to farm our own food. We do not know how to, filter our water and get, free drinking water, things of that nature. I feel that these are things that we should learn. I think we focus so much on what we're told we should know that we don't know anything that we actually should know. You understand what I'm saying? We don't do anything that we should do. So when it comes to, economics, I think we should practice group economics, and that's another reason why I'm very, very big on polygamy. Group economics, if there's a bunch of men in a household, that instead of there being one income, there would be about 4 incomes, according to 4 husbands, right? 4 incomes. Those men can save their money, obtain land, they can help each other as far as the psyche is concerned, teach the people, and then, create an environment where people can come and start living properly. They can start growing food while one is in the garden. The next one is probably fixing the house. The next one is, probably bringing in money somehow, going to work. The next one could be, entertaining his goddess, making sure she feels whole and complete so that maybe she could have a kid. You understand what I'm saying? So I think everyone has a role, and it's more efficient to have multiple men in the home right now in this stage of our lives than polygyny in itself. So, there's a study, and I'm going to look it up a little bit more so I can come back with you guys and give you more information about it. But they said that the net worth of the average African American by like 2035 or 2045 will be $0. I'm gonna let that marinate really quick. $0. So in about 20 or so years, the average African American, which I hate using that term, African American net worth will be $0. I'm gonna make sure I look up that study and I come up with, I'll post it, and I will have detailed information on that study. And it's because of economy, of how the economy is going right now. And also, they're going to give you those reasons. I already know they're going to give you those reasons as far as the economy and how it's working, and how there's AI going to take away a lot of the jobs that we have. But on top of that, The reason why that's going to happen is because we have individualistic mindsets. You understand what I'm saying? Because if the average person is like, oh, you know, I'm just going to do this job because I'm trying to get myself together. We throw our kids out at 18, you know, because they should be grown to take care of themselves. And it's because, you know, the way that we think, the way that we live, the way that we raise our children is, it needs an adjustment. It definitely needs an adjustment. So we create a life where we only pass on struggle. So I think polyandry in itself will change the mindset and shift the whole paradigm of how we love each other, how we respect each other, how we raise our children, and the Black community as a whole, and how we structure our culture. I think that it will change that, and you know, we won't lose everything in another 20 years. You understand what I'm saying? So I think if there's a bunch of men in the home, we need to definitely focus on getting some resources. Stop focusing on, you know, how you'll be perceived by Western society. We already know how you're going to be perceived by Western society. We already know. But stop focusing on that. Who cares? You understand? Who cares about that when you have to worry about so many other things? There's so much more things that you could be worried about other than your image and what other people think of you. You understand what I'm saying? There is a lot of things going on. What about your sisters, the Black women going down the street? What about the kids that's walking down? What about all these fatherless children? You know what I mean? The fatherless children. I think we will stop that whole thing. A lot of people grow up hurt. A lot of people grow up with trauma. They grow up with resentment because their father is not there. They grow up with voids, trying to fill them in the wrong ways. Like a lot of our people are damaged because they grew up without a father. You understand what I'm saying? So that insurance of a woman having more than one husband kind of keeps that, it's that insurance that the child will not grow up fatherless. And I think that's one of the things we need to focus on right now. Because if her and that biological father do not work out, there's another man there, or at least another two men there, or whatever. I think that's very important, and that's why I'm definitely for polyandry, because we need to start attacking our problem at the root as far as why we are this way, why we are so damaged. You know, like there's a lot of reasons why we're damaged, but this is one of the main reasons, and it's fatherless homes, and we need to change that. Polyandry can definitely change that. Polyandry can stabilize the environment, the atmosphere of the environment, as far as you know, bringing less babies into the world at a time. It can help the male psyche, and it can definitely you know, just change the way we look and deal with each other as a whole. And then on top of that, we can gather our resources and create a life for ourselves so that we don't end up being exactly what they predict us to be, as far as not having any net worth in the next 20 to 30 years. That's if the earth even lasts that long. I'm not gonna scare y'all right now. We'll go about that later. But I'm just saying, you know, it just makes complete sense to, you know, do polyandry right now. And then once, you know, we start creating that shift, the earth has that shift. As soon as that happens, and you know, we all shift into 5D, then we can start having mad babies. We can have mad babies. This week we're going to get busy. We're going to have mad babies. All right. We can start doing polygyny. And guess what? The men that will do polygyny will have a better mindset, because they would have been polyandrous already. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you look at polygyny, a lot of times the man is in it for what he can benefit. there's a lot of times I'm in a lot of poly groups in the community, and they talk. You understand what I'm saying? We talk to each other, we help each other, we give advice. And what happens with a lot of the polygynous unions is, oh, the woman feels some type of way because the other woman only wants the man. And guess what the men do? They take that attention and they create a rift between the women. They think, oh, polygyny doesn't work because the women become jealous. And a lot of times, maybe if the women are immature, yes, but most times from my observations, they're not that immature. The women are mature, but what happens is if a woman is coming into your relationship and you already have a wife, right? If that wife says to you as the man, you know, I don't feel that she's connecting with me on the same level that she's connecting with you. She's giving you all her attention. It's not your job to tell that woman, oh, you're being emotional. Stop acting like that. And then, you know, kind of push that woman to the side and invite the new women in and treat her differently. So a lot of times when it comes to polygyny, the men who are doing it aren't equipped mentally. So they don't. So in my opinion, and if you're not equipped mentally to do something, you don't deserve to do it. So a lot of times people are getting into it because of desire, because of sexual reasons, or just self-centered reasons. They may be arrogant or narcissistic, and that's just what they want. They feel they deserve. They feel they're a king, blah, 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 whatever. We're not going to go into that. But, you know, it's just that if you were a polyandrous man first, right? And your mind was shifted from selfish to selfless, to where you understood cooperation and equality, to where you had brotherhood and family, you know, in your mind, you would know how to handle multiple people and you would treat them accordingly. You would basically speak to the new woman and say, you know what? You know, I think you need to create a bond with your sister. And back off and let them create a bond before you start engaging in that woman and creating a rift in the home. A lot of times the man is the one who creates that energy imbalance and rift and causes that female competition. And the same thing will go for polyandrous unions. When it's time for a woman to have a polyandrous union, she needs to be in her divine femininity. She needs to not be selfish. You understand what I'm saying? She needs to know how to handle the different men and how to treat them accordingly and be able to communicate and things of that nature. So this is for the evolved, the spiritually ascended. This is not for anyone who just jumped out of Christianity and think they're conscious now. You know what I mean? No, that's not what it's for. It's for people who have done their shadow work. People who are in the art of healing. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, then you can have honesty and transparency and things of that nature. So, yes, I honestly think that polyandry can actually help polygyny. So I think it should do it first, just to, you know, create the proper mindset for men to be able to treat their women properly and make polygyny more successful. So right now, as far as, you know, what I think should be done, polyandry is winning. It's up there, okay? It's up there above all the other forms of polyamory, polygyny, definitely monogamy, okay? Yes, I agree. We do definitely need to reinvent our entire culture. And a lot of the things that I will be doing, well, as far as me, I'm concerned, if you're choosing to follow me, you are choosing to walk the path of godhood. You are choosing to reinvent our culture as far as African Americans in America. I don't even want to use that term. I don't even want to use the term black. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like that term. We are melanated light beings. Okay? That's what we are. You can call it starseeds, light workers, warlocks, witches, gods, goddesses, kings, queens. If you are choosing to follow me, you are choosing to reinvent our culture, to rebuild our nation, to, change the paradigm of love and social engineering. Okay? We definitely need a change, and we can't sit here and complain that we are being attacked if we aren't doing anything about it for ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna see if I can add this to YouTube. I want to see if there are any callers who would like to call in. Right now I don't have that many viewers, which is fine, because y'all can watch this later. Yes, we need to reinvent our culture. Like right now, I'm not even gonna lie, I have a new way for us to get married. Okay? Because the entire marriage institution of what marriage was about, monogamous marriage, it was more so about a business contract. And it was about oppression. So I have a new way of getting married. People, they leave Western ideals, and they don't want to do wedding rings, and they don't want to do this, and they don't want to do that. They complain about how things are, but no one has the idea of changing it and how it should be for us. So I have a new way of marriage, and I can't wait to show y'all. I can't wait to show you guys, the process of how we should get married. It simultaneously exalts the divine masculine and the divine feminine at the same time. No one is beneath the other. And I cannot wait to show you guys. I really want to do a full have the ceremony videotaped so that you guys can see. So soon as I find divine masculine men, who are worthy, then I will make sure to record the ceremonies for you guys, and and show y'all how it's done, and then we can start marrying each other in a whole new way. I can't wait to do that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just let y'all know now. It's called the crowning ceremony, and I want y'all to I want you guys to just hold on and stay tuned on that one. Stay tuned on that one. I have a lot of things that I'm working on right now. So, just stay tuned. Stay tuned. If you guys have any questions, or you are, let me know what you're for, let me know what you're for, whether you're for polygamy, you're not for polygamy, if you think polygyny is better than polyandry. Let me know. Let's talk about it. Let's build on it. Let's build on it. You know, that's something that I think we should have that conversation. And we should hurry up and have the conversation, because as soon as we come to an agreement, we can start acting on it. You know what I mean? I'm going to do what I'm going to do regardless. But if it's done on a massive scale, then it has those implications that I discussed earlier, and it can start benefiting us as a whole. I don't think polygyny benefits us as a whole, as polyandry benefits the nation as a whole. So that's why I choose polyandry over polygyny. So, you know, I'm going to end up getting off of here. I'm going to have you guys enjoy the rest of your night. And I'm going to add this to YouTube. So, yes, follow my YouTube, Goddess Pretty Akasha, and that's GODDESS, Pretty, PRITI, Akasha, AKASHA. So, follow my YouTube channel. You can click the link in the bio, and, you know, I'll see y'all later. Peace.